And the Jets are 0-5 after getting blown out at home from the Dallas Cowboys. 37-22 is your final in this one. And it just drives me mad. You know, I go live for every single Jets game, excited for a Jets game. Every week, like, all right, maybe this is the week. We can finally get our first win. And nope, the Jets are 0-5, arguably the worst team in football next to the Tennessee Titans. The Saints got a win. So now it's the Jets and the Titans as the two winless teams in the NFL as I'm recording this video. This game shows you why the Jets are 0-5. Every week, it's the same situation that's going wrong for this football team. And we're going to break it all down in this video. If you're just tuning in for the first time, don't forget to subscribe, but also feel free to let me know in the comments your biggest takeaways from this Jets game. Whether you are a Jets fan or not a Jets fan, love to hear what you guys have to say about this game against the Dallas Cowboys. Let's get into it. I'm going to go deep into this game and break it all down, why the Jets lost. Oh boy, here we go. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 30K subs. I would appreciate that, folks. So let's get into it, man. First and foremost, dude, the Jets just keep beating themselves. And that right there is the most frustrating part about this football team. Aaron Glenn is coaching them up, and the coordinators are all talking throughout the week to the press, and they're saying the same things. We all know what the issues are with this football team. We all know it's the penalties, and we all know it's turning the ball over and the inability to turn the ball over as a defense. And that's the same thing that happened in this game. The Jets are making NFL history, not in a good way. The Jets are the first team in history to start off the season 0-5 and not force a turnover on defense. That is breaking my brain. That's how bad this Jets team is. Even Adam Gase did not start 0-5. At least he was able to get a win in Week 5 against Dallas, but not the case here. And those things are true. So now let's get into what happened. Because you look at the numbers of Justin Fields, 283 passing yards, 32 for 46, 2 passing touchdowns, 100 rating. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not coming away from this game blaming Justin Fields for the loss. But I'm also not coming out here impressed and think that he's lighting it up, because those numbers came when the game was over in the fourth quarter, when the Dallas Cowboys defense was allowing everything to go underneath. All Justin Fields did was check it to Mason Taylor, check it down here, check it down there, get some touchdowns in the fourth quarter. It's the same thing. We need better productivity from this offense early in the game when it matters the most, and they were unable to do that. So let's start off with the opening drive of the game. The Jets get the ball first. And yet again, another productive drive that does not end in a touchdown. Now, this time it was not a fumble. Oh, we'll get to the fumble, don't you worry. It was 3 points. The Jets could not punch it in. And I really felt like that was their opportunity to set the tone of the game. You got to score touchdowns if you want to beat the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have a prolific offense, and if they're not able to score touchdowns early in the game, you're not going to be able to win. That's exactly what happened. The Jets settled for 3 points. You're like, all right, well, hopefully the defense can do something. Nope. The Jets let the Cowboys march down the field in a blink of an eye, and they get 3 points, tied up 3-3. And you're like, all right, offense, let's see if we can do something. Nope, we do not do anything on offense. We give the ball back to Dallas, punt the ball away, and that right there is when the Cowboys get their first touchdown of the game. Not surprising, the Jets cannot get stops on third down. They got so many opportunities. They play great defense on first down and second down, but when it's third down, they do not get the stops when you need to the most. So the Jets give up a touchdown to the Dallas Cowboys. The score is 10-3. And now in the second quarter, right, it's still a game. The Jets are only down 7 points. The Jets are marching down the field. They get a penalty after penalty on offense, but somehow the Jets are overcoming the penalties. Holding. It's like 1st and 20, but the Jets are still moving the ball. Fields is throwing the ball to Reynolds. A nice throw. They're picking up the first downs. You're like, all right, we're in the red zone here. Let's do it. Let's tie the game up at 10 apiece in the second quarter. Breece Hall, handoff, first down, about to set up 1st and goal, but no, it's not a first down. Why? Because he fumbled. I couldn't believe it, man. And here's my reaction to that. You guys deserve to see this, because this is the crash out I'm talking about. Look how excited I am for a Breece Hall run just to see a fumble. Hand off to Breece. Let's go, Breece. Breece Hall in the second level. Breece Hall fumbled. Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me? Did he just turn it over? Please tell me he didn't turn. He turned it over. He turned it over. He did. He turned it over. You gotta be kidding me, bro, with this team. Penalties and turnovers is exactly how we lose football games. It doesn't end. It doesn't end with this team, bro. You move all the way down the field, and the Dallas Cowboys knock the ball out, and now it's Cowboys football. Oh my gosh! You can't make this up. It's the same thing every week. The Jets keep beating themselves. They move the ball down the field just to get penalties and to turn it over. Right when you feel like the Jets are about to tie up the game before half, now all the momentum right in Dallas. I'm so freaking over this. And as you can see in the crash out, I knew in that moment that the inevitable collapse was beginning. And it drove me nuts. And if you guys forgot, earlier in that drive, Breece Hall fumbled, but he was ruled down. And I saw a flash before my eyes thinking to myself, if he fumbled that ball right there, I would have crashed out. And of course, he ended up fumbling on that same drive. And the Jets defense gets an opportunity to maybe bail out the offense because it's a team here. You're supposed to help each other out. And it's not like the offense turned the ball over and all of a sudden the defense is a short field. No, the defense has 95 yards to protect, and they allow the Cowboys to march 95 yards down the field and score a touchdown, a 14-point swing. And that cannot happen. The same thing happened against the Dolphins, bro. A fumble at the 1-yard line. Instead of the Jets going up 7-3 in that game, we let the Dolphins recover the fumble, march down the field, score. And it was 10-3 at the same exact situation, but instead of it being the first drive of the game, it was the last drive of the first half. That's a 14-point swing. The Jets are not good enough to afford those mistakes. So right when the Jets got that, and you saw how the Cowboys forced that fumble, by the way. I don't see the Jets trying to do that. Punching the ball out. Both fumbles, Braylon Allen's fumble last week and Breece Hall's fumble today, was forced, punched out. It's not like they're just like letting go of the ball. I would like to see them protect a little bit more, of course. But shout out to that Dolphins player and that Cowboys player for actually forcing a fumble. And the reason why I bring that up is because I don't see that on the Jets defense. I don't see anybody throwing haymakers at the ball. Take the ball away. The ball's not going to be handed to you. And that's what Aaron Glenn said after the game. Like, yeah, we know as a defense, we have to take the ball away. We can't allow them to give it to us. Well, I don't see anybody on this defense trying to take the ball away. All right? So after that 14-point swing, the Jets get the ball. The score 17-3. Maybe the Jets can get some points on the board before half because the Cowboys get the ball to start off the second half. There's like a minute left in the game. A minute left in the second quarter, right? And what happens? The Jets get a sack, intentional grounding, a collapse of a disgusting drive. So we punt the ball back to Dallas. And Dallas has like 20 seconds on the clock or something like that, maybe 30. And you're thinking, oh, God, they got Brendan Aubrey. They got one of the best kickers in the league. Let's hope they don't get an explosive play to get him in field goal range because he can get 3 points before half, and it'll be 20-3. That would be a nightmare. But no. What's a worse thing than a nightmare? I don't know. A night terror? Because that's what happened. They give the ball to Javonte Williams at midfield, and he breaks a tackle and goes 45 yards down the left sideline, goes out of bounds inside the 5, and then right away, the Jets are just like, oh my God, are we about to give up a touchdown? And before you could blink, you see a play action Jake Ferguson touchdown. Like, what are we doing? And then just like that, instead of it being 10-10, you blink, it's 23-3. Game's over. The game's over. This team is not good enough to come back from that. And it's so frustrating because I believe, now, obviously, if the Jets scored a touchdown instead of the Breece Hall fumble and the score was 10-10, there's no guarantee we would have won the game. Knowing the Jets, they would have made their mistake eventually. But it's just those costly mistakes that spiral. And they got to learn as a football team how to handle that adversity during the game. They're not tough-minded right now. Their minds are too weak. It's like they make a mistake and then they get afraid, like, and then they just collapse. And that is what this Aaron Glenn's version of the New York Jets is. He's got to do a better job of nipping a mistake in the butt during the game and firing up the troops and having them ready to go, having them ready to fight, having them able to adjust and not let one mistake spiral into multiple. That's the biggest issue with this football team. That's what it feels like. Like, yeah, it's football. Turnovers happen. How do you respond? There is no respond. There is no resolve. That is my biggest problem with the Jets so far this season. And then not to mention the penalties, ridiculous. The George Pickens touchdown in the third quarter, right? And then, by the way, let's go into the third quarter here. It's halftime, 23-3. Can the Jets pull off a miracle, right? The defense gets a stop to start off the third quarter. You're like, wow, that's shocking. And the offense, let's go down the field. Let's go, it's 23-3. We've seen comebacks happen in the NFL. The offense just does nothing, absolutely nothing. This offense does in the third quarter. Nothing. They scored 3 points. 3 points in the third quarter. So that was frustrating. And then Dak Prescott throws a touchdown pass to George Pickens. And I don't want to be that guy that blames the refs, but I just want to mention one thing about the refs in this game. George Pickens pushed off of Sauce Gardner 2 times on that route, and they did not call it. And the only reason why I bring this up, and I probably would not bring this up if it wasn't for what happened on Monday night against Miami, of that ridiculous call of Garrett Wilson's offensive pass interference, you can just tell the flags are not in the Jets' favor consistently, because George Pickens had 2 push-offs on Sauce. And that's no excuse. Sauce got to play better. Sauce 100% is not playing good football. He's playing like an overrated corner. He started off the game with 2 good tackles, but then for the rest of the game, he was not making any impact positively for the Jets. The only reason why I bring up that play is just like it really shows you the refs are not giving the Jets anything until they prove that they're worthy of it. And I guess that's what the NFL is about. It seems like that. And then the Jets started scoring touchdowns and points in the fourth quarter. They got 16 points in the fourth quarter. It's garbage time, man. Yeah, I like that the Jets were able to get some points. I like that Justin Fields was able to pad his stats. Selfishly with fantasy, I got Fields as my fantasy quarterback. He got a lot of points. I got Garrett Wilson as my fantasy wide receiver. He's got a lot of points. I'm happy that they got their garbage time numbers from a fantasy perspective, but it was broken numbers, bro. And it's the same thing every week. They start playing better offense in the fourth quarter. They need to learn, especially when it comes to involving Garrett Wilson earlier in the games. Why is Garrett Wilson had 1 catch at halftime? Why does he have 1 catch at half? You got to get Garrett Wilson the ball early. They need to show more aggression offensively, right? The Jets did not lose this game because of Justin Fields. They did not lose this game because of that. But there was a lot of issues on offense today, especially on the offensive line. One of the worst performances we've seen. The Jets allowed 5 sacks. Olu Fashanu was a shell of himself. He got hurt, came back. Armand Membu had 1 million penalties. Joe Tippmann got beat. John Simpson, 1 million penalties. The offensive line was abysmal against one of the worst defensive fronts in the league that does not have Micah Parsons, and that is not a good defense. This is one of the worst defenses the Jets are going to go up against all season, and they couldn't even score consistently in the first half. That is ridiculous. And then on defense, the Cowboys had all their offensive linemen out in this game, and we couldn't even touch Dak Prescott. We had 1 sack, which wasn't even a sack, by the way, because he scrambled out of the pocket, and they tackled him 1 yard shy of the line of scrimmage. That's not a sack, in my opinion. A sack is when you get pressure and you sack him in the pocket, and they could not even do that against a backup offensive line. It really is mind-boggling how incompetent this football team is, and it's frustrating. And now we have to go up against Denver, who just beat the Eagles in London next week. Good luck. And I get it, man. Jets fans are tired. They're sick of this, and people want change. But the reality is the reality, man. There's no change happening at this moment. You got to let the season breathe. You got to let this team figure themselves out during these mistakes, and you got to be patient. If you want to hold on, you got to be patient. If you're ready to check out, that's on you. I'm not checking out. I'm still going to be tuning in. I'm still going to be making content. I'm still going to be doing what I do here because I'm a Jets fan, and I love this team till I die. And that's the reality of it. But if you stayed until the end of the video, comment down below a plane emoji and your overall thoughts of this game. Don't forget to smash the like button. And a big shout out to Sleeper. If you guys want to check out Sleeper for Sunday Night Football and tomorrow night's game, they're giving you $20 for free. If you want to use my code JETS, you basically just click the link, download the Sleeper app with my link, use the code JETS. They give you $20 of free money to bet on any games tonight and tomorrow night. Building a parlay, you pick the more or less, you build a nice parlay, you get nice cash out prizes up to 100x your money. You can put $10 to win $100 if you build out a nice big parlay. Please bet responsibly, of course, but I gotta give Sleeper a big shout out, the #1 daily fantasy app on the market today. Make sure you guys check them out. I'm gonna run, guys. The last thing I'll say is I love you. If you're watching this video, I appreciate it. Whether you're a Jets fan or not a Jets fan, you just enjoy watching my content. It helps me out mentally that you guys continuously show me love because the Jets don't give me any love. Love you guys. I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day.